Hello, guys. Good day to you all. So, let me share with you my spiritual practices reflection for the week. And the passages that has been assigned this week is strangely timely because of what occurred the past few days with me and some of my family members. You know, reading Mark chapter 3, for example, like Jesus' own family when he came home to his hometown, would try to seize him and try to drag him away because they 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 thought that he's losing his mind, by performing these teachings and preaching and healings, and also in the reading in John chapter 7, particularly that verse when it says, not even his own brothers believe Jesus. And yeah, it's the same thing that we find in Luke chapter 4 passage, in the synagogue in Nazareth, when Jesus said that a prophet is no honor or not even accepted even in his own hometown. And yeah, I also remember, a passage not included here when Jesus said that don't even think that I came to bring peace, but a sword. That even within his own family, his brother, person's brother, sisters, father, mother, even his own kin will become his enemies, on account of their devotion to Jesus and following him. So, I mean, if passages like this that starts to relate, you know, in your own experience, then um, you can appreciate what Jesus may have gone through on his own. And, in a way, that's comforting because, like what Hebrews said, that we have a high priest that truly relates to our own human experience of rejection, even coming from our families. Yeah, this past week, my brother, my own brother, starts to question me, and he was even like behind my back, like telling my dad, like, you know, believing that I have gone rogue, and that my dad was asking my wife a few days ago about my ministerial license. If he was asking if I have renewed my license and all that stuff. He was asking if I'm under a denomination, or um, if I'm commissioned as a pastor, or you know. So I was ordained before, but I in my previous church, but I never renewed my ordination license, ministerial license. So yeah, so past few weeks they start questioning that again. I mean, this has been coming for a long time now because they've been hearing me many years back during my deconstruction phase, starting to question, uh, you know, precious doctrines for evangelicals like penal substitution theory, um, issues of hell, is it real, eternal conscious torment, and even biblical inerrancy that I start, deconstructing. And now that I'm into, decolonizing theology and de-westernizing much of what we've been inherited from from the West, Western theologies and doctrines that coming from the West. So I'm into that, and they know that, and so they started to question and sincerely believe that I may be endangering my community of me teaching false teachings or twisting scriptures or being, having been slowly being led astray by these teachings. And, I understand where they're coming from. It's kind of a genuine concern um, for me. And of course, I understand, the struggle because I've gone through the same when I was, deconstructing before. It's really hard to unlearn a lot of these things, especially where when you're having this cognitive dissonance. And I know for sure that, they're having this cognitive dissonance if they hear me talking about these things and questioning it and being critical about it. And what's funny is that the more that you teach about and expound more on the love of God, the nature of God as love, and that God is love, and that God is reconciling all things upon Himself, and even to the extent of loving the enemy, you know. Um, and now I've been like leaning more on believing a more universal reconciliation, that people will be saved. Um, and even the word save, I've been doing a lot of rethinking about that. So not just being saved, that you will go to heaven when you die and your soul goes there. So, this is more of a holistic salvation. But when you start explaining things like this, you can see the resistance. They would resist by answering, yes, God is love, but, so they put forth, typical, God is just, and because of sin, God's wrath is upon people. Because of that justice, it needs to be appeased and be atoned for. So anyway, yeah, so that's where I'm at this moment. So even my own brother, my dad, and some of my relatives, sincerely believe that, I may have gone rogue, or you know uh, but I understand the sentiment, because maybe they may have been connecting the dots, because I have a pattern of, being rebellious, of being so critical, and therefore, um, I am I have been excommunicated from my previous church associations and denominations. So, but to set the record straight, I never left. They're the ones who excommunicated me, and they're the ones who asked me to leave. So there you go. But my consolation is my own community. We're a network of house churches here, and even ecclesial structures. I've been questioning about hierarchies, about the clergy and laity divide. So I've been like trying to dismantle all of this, artificial stuff that accumulated all over the years in institutional church, in the institutional church and the organized religion and stuff like that. But in a way, yeah, my community is very supportive, and even more, that I appreciate that I appreciate now, what Jesus said, that those who follow Him, will have brothers, mothers, sisters in this age to come. And He inserted there, but with persecutions. So yeah, um, I think that's my experience, and just like what I said, it's strangely timely, for me, talking about issues about family, extended family, and the community as your new family. So there. God bless. I also hope that you have a meaningful reflection.